Okay, so I made a video the other day and it didn't get a lot of views, and that's fine. But I don't know. I kind of want to get the video out there to get some views, to get some thoughts on what maybe some of you guys think. But you know, we are in a trade war, and I'm not trying to talk politics. I'm trying to talk about hi-fi gear, even mid-fi gear, just gear in general, that we as audiophiles, audio enthusiasts, audio people that want to buy something that's, well, it's getting out of hand. It's getting too expensive. It's getting too expensive. And what I mean by too expensive is like, okay, I'm going to go right to a pair of speakers that I want. I'm just going to go right to a pair of speakers that I want. Those are the Klipsch Cornwalls. They 8 months ago were on my radar. They were on my radar. And they're probably not going to stop being on my radar for a long time. But I bought the RF7 and I probably should have bought the Cornwalls. Just put out a little bit more cash and bought the Cornwalls. And I'm not saying I'm not happy with the klipsch R7 because I am. They're great speakers. But, well, I should have gone with the Cornwalls because there's more versatility in the RF7 for home theater, 2-channel, whatever. I can move them around. The Cornwalls I want for 2-channel. So is there versatility? Yeah, I can put them in a home theater. You bet. But holy shit, that's a pretty expensive speaker to put in a home theater for an average guy, which I am an average guy. Like, yeah, don't kid yourself. I make some money. I work hard, but I'm an average guy. I am not a 1%er. If I was a 1%er, I wouldn't be doing a YouTube video about this or possibly complaining about this. And yes, I am complaining about this. Klipsch Cornwall, US price, $3,700. You know, plus shipping, because that comes from Hope, Arkansas. Now, in Canada, I'm Canadian. We have a depot that stocks these kinds of speakers. They're not always in stock, and sometimes they are. And we are now battling tariffs. Are we battling tariffs on the speakers yet? That I'm gonna say no, but I'm not 100% sure, because I think that falls under the US-Mexico trade agreement. Only certain things got really tariffed. You know, like big industries got really tariffed, and speaker companies and stuff like that. Yes, you are a big industry, but you are not steel. You are not aluminum. You are not oil and gas. You just aren't. You never will be, but you are a wicked, wicked industry. You are what I work in those industries to pay for, if that makes any sense. So, the Canadian dollar is worth 73 cents, and I'm rounding up to the closest total dollar. And that is based on the benchmark, which is the US greenback. And that's equal to $1. So every dollar in the world is compared to the US greenback, because it is the biggest IMF reserve currency of the world, and it probably will be for quite some time. And what Donald Trump is doing is ensuring that. He's ensuring that. He's got some tricks up his sleeve, and he's doing it. He's doing it, whether you agree with him or not. He's doing it. And from an outsider looking in, I would love it if I had a prime minister that would do the same thing and look after my country the way Donald's trying to look after yours. Now, if you're a Donald hater, that's regardless. It doesn't matter. What he's doing for your country is something that's not unprecedented, because it's been done before, but he is doing something to help his country. Will it help his country? Well, I'm going to explain a few things. I'm already almost 30 cents on the dollar less value than you. So I have to, take a pair of Cornwalls that are, say, $3,500 a piece. I know I said 37, but I'm going to do the quick math. Okay, so that means that you guys down in the United States of America are going to pay $7,000 per pair. Now, I know you've got an arrangement with your dealer. I know you do. You should, anyway, because the first question I ask is that the best you can do? Because I never pay full price for anything on this planet, ever. I just walk away and go find the next guy that's a dealer. So, you pay $7,000. You add 30% to that because of our 30% decline in the value of our money, which used to be 20%, I might add. Actually, it's been par before, actually. You're looking at $10,000. I got a quote recently for $10,450, and that included shipping from a local dealer. I then got a price from a guy. I've got to drive 9 hours to get them, but they were $8,600. So he's a little bit more aggressive and he wants to sell. Now, let's just pretend for a minute, and this might happen. This might happen. Starting to speed up. We're getting out of the 80-kilometer-an-hour zone, and we're up to 110. So we'll speed up. Now, if you want to buy a pair of speakers and Donald Trump throws it out the window with regards to the Canadian-Mexico free trade agreement, which is, I think it's called Kuzmo or something like that. That means that everything will get tariffed at 30%. So for the quick, simple math, that's a 60% difference. So what am I going to pay for a pair of klipsch Cornwalls? Well, I'll tell you. It's going to be close to $16,800. These are not accurate, but they are very, very, very close in dollar figures. How does this affect the hi-fi, the beautiful klipsch, the everything scenario? Well, guess what? The average Joe that saved up for quite a while, 10 grand, 9 grand, whatever, to buy his klipsch Cornwalls, doesn't buy them. He just doesn't buy them. Maybe he settles for the heresy. I'm not the type of guy to do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I want the Cornwalls. The Forte 4s are $2,000 cheaper in the US. In Canada. So they're probably like, $1,200 cheaper in the US or whatever. I'm just doing simple math here. I'm driving. So how does this affect people? Well, you guys can just look at me and say, oh, you're Canadian, you don't matter. Fuck you. How about that? How about you just say that? That would be just fine with me. Because you're right. You're right. But here's the big picture. Okay. The American greenback is more valuable than almost any dollar on the planet. Maybe apart from the British pound. Sterling, or whatever it's called. So, let's say there's a dollar that's less than Canada, or there's a dollar that's, maybe slightly stronger than Canada. I don't know. Are those people going to buy the klipsch Cornwall for $18,000 or $15,000 or $25,000? We're talking about a big box with a very average crossover with some fairly average parts and pieces with some pretty good design characteristics. The answer is no. But there will be the 1 to 5 to 7% of the people out there that can't afford it no matter the price. And they will buy it. But you lost somebody. You lost your biggest customer. You lost your blue collar worker. You lost your, you lost an important purchaser. You lost a guy who really wants them and can no longer afford them. Like, I mean, I can afford them, but I'm just not willing to put out that kind of money right now in my life, or maybe ever, for that speaker. It makes me want to look at a Volte speaker that might hold its value better, but is way more money even then. You know what I mean? It's almost like I've got to take out a mortgage on a pair of speakers. Like, that's the price of a used car. Well, price of a used pickup, really, in Canada. Not necessarily the greatest used pickup, but it's the price of a used pickup. So who's this gonna hurt in the end? Like, what's the conclusion? What's the final thoughts on this? Well, the final thoughts are simple. Klipsch will build speakers, and they will sell, maybe they sell 50% of Klipsch speakers in the US. And maybe they sell 50% of the Klipsch speakers in the rest of the world, like globally. I bet you the numbers are different than that. And maybe because, maybe the Americans get richer over this deal, which I highly doubt, because you're going to be tariffed too. You're going to have to pay more for this, and you're going to have to pay more for copper and more for steel, because if you think for a minute that America doesn't have to buy things off other countries to live, you're on some sort of drug that I've never heard of. We are a global market. We are a global market. Once upon a time, we weren't. But today, we are a global market. Look at YouTube. It's global. Look at Apple TV. It's global. Look at everything. It's global. No such thing as... there might be niche American markets that nobody from Bangladesh buys. Sure. But Klipsch speakers have been built since 1946. That's why I like to use them as an example. Sorry, I'm on a gravel road. Trying to go slow. So this is going to hurt the guy who wants to buy the Klipsch speakers. But when you're building 100 pairs a month at the Klipsch factory, and all of a sudden it goes down to 30 pairs a month at the Klipsch factory because nobody can afford them anymore because of tariffs. Well, that doesn't hurt me anymore. That hurts the people that work at Klipsch. That's what it does. It hurts the people that work at Klipsch. Anyway, and that sucks. So, and for the people in America that think that this is a wonderful idea, well, I'll tell you right now, I know a lot of economists. I'm a businessman, so I went to school with a couple guys that are economists, and they say this is one of the dumbest things they've ever seen. But whatever, it is what it is. But no Cornwalls for me. Have a great day.